Hi, welcome to a special episode of Words on Water, the podcast from the Water Environment Federation. I'm the host, Travis Loop. This is part of our video series that we publish in conjunction with WEFTech Connect. Have a terrific episode for you looking at water mains and lead service lines and some new ways to address repairing these and addressing these problems. I am joined by Ben Cote. He is president of Ultra Solutions. Ben, thanks for coming on.
Hey, it's my pleasure, Travis. Very happy to be here.
Yeah, I'm very interested to talk to you today. It's very well documented on the water infrastructure side, just how much repair work needs to be done. Cities across the country are always dealing with water main breaks and the need to dig up streets and address these problems. I was hoping you could maybe talk a little bit more about that, kind of the state of water mains and that infrastructure and the problems that it's causing out there.
Well, I'm sure it won't be to any surprise to our viewers today that the water infrastructure is basically shot. We've accumulated so many delays in rebuilding this infrastructure that the average age is probably anywhere between 50 to 75 years old. So there's so many problems and issues, and I'm sure in all of our towns we hear about water main breaks. Sometimes we'll use the word catastrophic breaks to really indicate how serious the problem is. And obviously, we're going to need money and funding to get this done.
Yeah, and I mentioned that they are disruptive when there's a repair that needs to be made or an upgrade that needs to be made. Could you talk a little bit about those disruptions and the challenges of getting in there to make a repair?
Well, when you look at water main infrastructure and the time that it was built, you're looking at 50, 70-year-old construction methods that were used to put these water mains in the ground. And we've basically never touched them since. So what we know today about replacing those water mains and renewing the system are using basically 50-year-old construction methods, which basically open trench replacement. Now the disturbance that creates becomes really a hindrance to using and to doing a lot of work. Disturbances like traffic, like noise, road closures, not to talk about the environmental footprint that these methods leave, and also, the dust and the noise that it creates. So a lot of disturbances that accompany water main renewal when you're using, digging up methods.
Now the exciting part of the conversation. That's a bit of the challenge and the problem. But what about the solution that you all have come up with? I got a little teaser about this, and I think it's so interesting. Could you talk about it?
Yes. Well, roughly 20 years ago, we were basically the first ones to come up with a usable water main realigning method using trenchless technologies. Now, the challenge was to basically build a brand new water main inside the old one with as little disturbance as possible. So since we're using trenchless technologies, it's in the word itself, we're not digging up trenches. Now we're producing small surgical excavations to reline and rebuild the water main from the inside. So immediately you can understand and appreciate the fact that we're not digging up the streets anymore. We're not transporting waste material or backfill material on our streets. We're removing trucks from the congested downtown cores and cities that we live in. And all of that being done in a very environmentally friendly way. And so to this point, this technology has been used. The one that we use and we distribute at Ultra Solutions, we've lined over thousands of miles of water mains in the US and Canada using this technology. So we're very, very proud to have saved tons and tons of greenhouse gas emissions in our during the construction process. But not only that, we're able to reduce and eliminate completely the water loss. So the leaks in the system, and we're prolonging the life of the water main that's already there for over 100 years. So very proud to be doing that.
Oh, that's amazing. Could you talk just a little bit about how it works from a practical or technical sense, how you actually go about relining that water main?
Yeah, well, it all starts off with very small excavations, every 500 feet or so on average, on the water main itself, because you need to have access to the water main. And then from these points, we'll be using a very strong and very resilient composite material pipe that we'll be building inside the old one. So the composite material is very thin walled, so it does not reduce the water flow in that pipe, does not reduce the capacity of the pipe. And again, using robotics, we're able to go back into this line pipe now and reinstate water service to each and every house and client that's connected to that water main. So basically eliminated the need to excavate, to shut down water for these clients for long periods of time.
Yeah, incredible. Let's pivot to another challenge underground with another type of water line, lead service lines. This is another enormous challenge out there. Could you talk again about this challenge and scale of the problem?
Well, as far as we know, there's well over 6 million lead service lines in the US right now. So basically that means 6 million households are drinking water that flows through a lead pipe. Now, lead is a contaminant, but also a poison in human consumption. So it's become a real issue, and fortunately our governments are now starting to realize that that's an issue, and it needs to be replaced. Now, the challenge with lead is you're dealing sometimes with both public utility, but also private utility. So the lead lines will go typically from the water main in the street, which is on the public domain, to inside of your house into the meter. Now it becomes your own private lead service that needs to be replaced. So it's a double challenge, but fortunately there are ways of dealing with that now thanks to technology.
Yeah, and like you said, it's very disruptive. The photos I've seen when there's news stories about towns, spending money to do this, you see people's yards ripped up, and just an incredible construction footprint, and the cost of doing that much construction and work is up there as well. So again, to the solution side, what do you all have on that front?
So at Ultra Solutions, we have, again, a trenchless technology to apply to lead service lines. And that basically involves the insertion of very small diameter PET pipe inside the lead line that allows to make a barrier between the lead pipe and the water flowing through it. So it removes the lead contact completely. And that we're able to do both on the private side and also on the public side, which means that we can actually line a lead service from the water main right to the meter inside the house.
Yeah, that's absolutely incredible. And so the other benefits, obviously you're sealing that lead away, so it's never going to get into that water again. The utility doesn't have to worry. You don't have to worry about, is the water corrosive? Is the lead going to leach out of that line? It's sealed off. And then you don't have the physical disruption to property, all the trucks coming in, all those things you mentioned before. And is this a generally a lower cost solution then than all the digging?
Oh, absolutely. Since you're not disrupting all of the property, it's definitely much lower cost than you would find in typical digging up operations. But importantly, and as important, it's at a lower cost to the homeowner as well. Because if you're going to be running a brand new water pipe from your meter, which is usually in the basement of your house, for instance, to the water main in the street, there's going to be some type of demolition going on in your house, which is not what you want. Most of the time, you'll be breaking up a concrete slab to pass a brand new pipe inside your house. This way, you're not breaking anything up, or just using the pipe that's already there, putting a liner right through it, and then reconnecting. It's fast, it's easy, and most importantly, it's not disruptive.
Yeah, with both the lead service lines and the water mains, and using this type of approach and technology, do you see more communities going this route? Do you think things are trending this way?
Definitely. So this technology has been available here for just a couple of years. So there's a lot of education to be done to utilities. Again, we're relying on 50-year-old construction methods here. So we need to do education, which is what we're doing with WEFTEC and other trade associations, educating these utilities that there's a better way of doing things. And then it's a matter of giving then our users and utilities confidence in the product. And this is done using third-party testing, third-party evaluation. Of course, we're dealing with drinking water, so all of these materials have been tested and certified by NSF for Standard 61 for drinking water applications, but other international certifying bodies as well, to be absolutely sure that these materials are safe for drinking water.
Fantastic. Well, I look forward to following the increased use of these kind of solutions. It makes so much sense to avoid all of that disruption that's unnecessary now, and take this kind of approach. So Ben, thank you so much for sharing the information, and really appreciate your time.
It was my pleasure, Travis. Anytime. I'll be happy to do so.